Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. After our adventures playing Twilight Inscription last week with the Lizix MindNet, we're back into the world of 1920s Europa as we play Expeditions from Stonemaier Games. This game is a sequel to Scythe, but this has us focusing on building up our mech with our characters and trying to gather resources to ultimately, in this case of the solo mode, defeat the Automa. The way the Automa works, and I'm going to be cleaning my glasses here because my glasses are getting a little bit foggy. The Automa actually has two mechs that they'll be working with. They recommend using the black one in the middle, the one with the black ring in the middle, and then one with the blue ring on the bottom, on the bottom, in the northern part of the map. So we'll be exploring this world, trying to purge corruption from it. And ultimately, depending on how well we do, we might end up being the wealthiest. Our goal is to end up being the wealthiest character in the game. So once I finish cleaning my glasses, we're actually going to go through my randomly assigned mech, along with the character and the companion that I've got. Much better. So we'll start off with our mech. I'm not sure what. Oh, we've got the mole here. So we've got a space for what's called guile and power. Those are the resources we can get throughout the game. We've also got room to tuck quests, items, and meteorites. It's complete quests, upgrade items, and meld meteorites. We've got spaces here for a refresh action. On our turn, we'll be moving a cube over here. We have to cover one of the actions that we haven't done in the round, and we get to do those two actions. I'll explain how each one works. At the start of the game, you get a refresh action. You start on refresh, and then you're able to do all three of move, play, and gather, which will be move up to your space, up to your range, then play a card, then gather a resource. You can actually do those in any order. What we're playing as the mole, and a special ability, whenever you gather, you may trash a map to act as if corruption is not covering a benefit. Then the characters we've got Mox. We can use a card. Actually, this is the companion. With the red worker, we can play a card or a vanquish. If this vanquish removes the location's final corruption, you may gain the revealed benefit. And we've got Bjorn as the character. Either gain a red worker or solve when you deploy it with a blue worker. And if you solve, gain the core value of all of your solved quests. I'm going to have everything off to the side right by where I've got my laptop. Mostly because I've got more room over there than I do over here, than I do on this side. So, with that all set, we're going to get into this game, and I'm going to determine the first player randomly. We'll bring the dice tower over here for the time being. Odds, the Automa is the first player. Evens, I am. That's evens, so I will be the first player for the game tonight. Okay, so I get to do all three because I'm on a refresh turn. So I think the first thing I want to do is I want to move up to where I can get a blue worker. So I'm going to move up to the isolated. Oh, we need to reveal the 5 cards here as well. So this isn't going to change anything about my turn. As you might notice in the setup, there are 5 spaces here. There are spaces for cards to go, and some of the benefits may cause them to be cycled away. Our first card that we can look at, Sword of Nogai. You gain a might when you play it. You can also gain cards when you play them. When you deploy it with a red worker, you can rescue a card and a worker on it. And then the effect when you upgrade it, once per turn, if you rescue another card, you may gain a worker matching that card's color. Then up over here, we've got Flex Capacitor. It's an item. You gain a guile when you play it. Discard a card. Discard any card. Yep, any card you control. And with that's with a purple worker. Once per turn, if you discard another card, either gain its core value or activate its ability. The coins will come back to for end of game scoring. Next up, a sunstone, a meteorite. You gain additional resources on the meteorites if you have other meteorites melded. Deploy it with a yellow worker to vanquish. If you got 2 melded meteorites, gain a guile per 3 value corruption you have. And then when you meld meteorites on the bottom of the board, you gain this effect when you meld. Gain $1 per 3 value corruption, max 3. Then next up, trap the zombies. You need to go to the space, spend the resources. In this case, it's 2 might to refresh your cards and workers and get a coin. And the green worker, gain a guile and peek at a location. Gain a map if there are no face-down locations. Maps are tokens that are out on the board, and they can also be gained through other means. And our last card out to start the game, cranial implant. Gain a guile when you play it. Gain an adjacent face-up card with a blue worker, and then when you gain an item or a meteorite, also gain its core value when you upgrade it. So as I mentioned, that's not changing anything about my turn, but I will get a blue worker. So there's a blue worker there. Then I'm going to play Bjorn, which will give me a might, and I'll play a blue worker on him, so I can either gain a red worker or solve. Since I have nothing to solve right now, I'm going to gain a red worker. Then that's it for my turn. The Automa's turn comes out of this deck, and I should mention that they're playing on level 1, Mazonite, so their cube will start here. As they progress through the game, they'll eventually gain their glory stars, which is the main way the game ends. I've got a few different categories that I can trigger for. As they hit the milestones, they get 1 glory, and then they'll score it for end of game scoring. We'll go through that when we get to it. The categories I can score for are having 4 quests completed, 4 meteorites melded, 4 items upgraded, the 20 corruption token, 7 corruption tokens, 8 cards under my control, and either 7 workers or 5 maps. But it's not as easy as just saying, hey, I've got these things. There are actually a few locations out, mainly toward the center and the top of the board, where there's an action you have to go take called Boast. And that's where you essentially gain those bonuses. So the Automa's card, they will advance their glory cube. Then the mech's divided in 2. So they're going to, so essentially they've got a section for the blue mech, and then one for the central mech. So in this case, they are going to sweep the adjacent card around them. So the Sword of Nogai goes away. And then the card replacing that, save a captive from a dark ritual, going to space 15, which is in the north. Spend 3 might to gain a yellow worker and a coin. If you deploy it with a red worker, rescue another card. If it had a worker on it, gain a might and a guile. All right, so that's the sweep. This only happens if they have 3 glory, but they don't. So instead they move 3 spaces. So this mech moves 3 spaces to the right. 1, 2, 3. And then this only happens. So next up, if they have 4 glory, they would get 3 of those tokens. But since they don't, the black mech moves 3 to the left. And that's actually how quick turns are going to flow in this game. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's an Automa turn. Now back to me. So now I have to cover up one of my actions. Which I think I'm going to take move and gather. Let's see, where do I want to go? Let's see, this one would give me a benefit from an adjacent location. I think I'm going to move over to... I'm going to move over to Riverside. And I'm going to gather a benefit from an adjacent location. Let me just wave my hand over here, make sure that's all good, since I just jarred the cord. Then I'll gain a benefit from this location, Airship Wreckage, which will be to get myself any face-up card, and I'll take Save a Captive from a Dark Ritual. Mostly because I want to be able to use that for its effect right away. And then replacing that, is going to be an Aether Stone. Gain a Guile. So I actually should have another... Oh, no, I shouldn't have a Might just yet because I didn't play anything. When you deploy with a purple worker, gain 1 face-up meteorite to your hand. If you have 2 meteorites melded, gain a Guile per meteorite you control. When you meld it, gain 1 per meteorite you control, max of 3. Then for the Automa, their cube advances again. They don't have the 3 glory to do that, so the blue mech moves 1 to the right. Then the black mech moves 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. Okay, back to my turn. I think I'm going to... I think I'm going to move and play this time. So I'm going to move up here to the central location. I will get the map. And then I get to flip this tile. So the tile we're flipping over is Crater Rim, space 8. Benefits here, you can sweep any number of face-up cards and refresh, or take an upgrade, but that's going to get covered by corruption. So I need to go to the corruption bag and get 5 corruption out. We'll be drawing tokens from here. Assuming the first token doesn't fill the location up, I have to keep drawing until I have at least 5 corruption. We have that's a 2 power corruption. And a 4 power corruption. So as you can see, it'll be very easy for locations to go over the 5 corruption limit. And then play is going to be... it's going to be to play Mox, just for the Guile. There's no sense in playing him with a red worker right now, because I can't play another card. That's it for my turn. So now the Automa is advancing their cube again. So they're advancing that. Now they get a glory. Since they don't have the glory to go for the 20, the blue mech's going to move 3 spaces to the right. So 1, 2, 3. And then the central mech is sweeping everything adjacent, which means the Aether Stone goes away. And then replacing that, but we drive off the Marauders. Going to space 4, spend a might to gain a face-up item card. Ooh, I might want to try to get that one. But if I deploy it with a red worker, I can discard a card to gain 2 might. And then if they have 1 glory, which they do, so the Automa will take the... and they do score points for their maps, so I'll put that map there, which means they'll flip this tile, and here we'll find... the Fishing Village, space 12. Here's one of the boast icons I was talking about earlier, but we can only take that when we clear the corruption. You get a power, you get a might and a guile. Wow, when you gather there. But I do need to get 5 corruption worth of corruption tokens out. Wow, all the might corruption coming out. That's a 5 might. Okay, and then that's it for their turn. I'm going to take a refresh action, which gets me all of my cards back, but more importantly, it'll let me do all 3 actions on my next turn. Then the Automa, their cube's moving again. He doesn't have the 5 glory to go for corruption tokens, so the blue mech is moving 2 to the right. Then 0 glory to go for a map token. There is 1 in range in the direction he's moving, so the Automa is going to grab that map token, and then we'll see what comes out as our next location. So our next location coming out is the Warehouse, space 9. We can either gain an adjacent face-up card or meld a meteorite, but first we need to get the 5 corruption out for that. There's a 4 might, or 4 power. And a 5 guile. Yikes, that place is really corrupt. Okay. And then since I took a refresh turn, I get to do all 3. Well, I definitely don't want to take a sweep and a refresh here. So what do I want to do here, though? Because I can take all 3 actions in any order. Discard. I want to see something. If discard is to the sweep pile or discarding it to your right. I think it's to the... I think when they say discard, that means discard to the right. Placed in the right. Okay, discarded or placed in the rightmost position on your active row. Okay. So, I definitely want red workers right now. So, I also want that drive off the Marauders, I'm thinking. So, I'm going to start off with a move down to the airship wreckage. Then I'm going to gather a face-up card, which will be drive off the Marauders. Then replacing that on the board will be rescue a trapped mercenary. It's another quest. 10, space 10, 2 might to gain a red worker. Deploy a red worker on it, rescue another card. Either gain its core value or activate its ability. That's a move, gather, and a play is going to be Bjorn with a blue worker, which will give me a red worker because I can't solve a quest right now. Okay, and then the Automa's next turn. Cube doesn't move this time. They don't have the glory to go for any tokens, so the blue mech is moving 2 to the right. And then the black mech is moving 1 to the left, so that's their turn done. As for me, now I have to cover up one of the spaces on my board. So here, I think I want to go... Let's go with a... Let's go with a play and gather this round. So I'm going to start off by playing my Save a Captive from a Dark Ritual with a red worker on it. So that'll let me rescue another card, which I'll rescue Bjorn, since it's also got a blue worker on it. Actually, I should have a might from playing... No, I shouldn't have a might from driving off. I should have a might from playing Bjorn, and another might from playing Save a Captive from a Dark Ritual. I'll then gain a might and a guile for rescuing Bjorn with a worker on it. So that was my play. Then a gather is going to be... That's going to be the cranial implant. And then face up here is a brainstone gaining a guile. When you get a blue item, when you deploy it with a blue worker, gain a face-up item to your hand. Two meteorites melded, gain a might per item in your hand. and gain $1 per item you control to a max of 3. All right, so that was my... So I did my play, that was my gather. All right, next card for the Automa. Cube is moving again. They don't have the glory to go for corruption tokens, so the blue mech is just moving 1 to the right. Then since they have no glory, the black mech is opening up another space. So they're going to take this map token, and then the space they'll find here is the weird forest. You can get either a purple worker or meld a meteorite here once you clear the 5 corruption off of there. All right, that's a 3 might. And a 4 might. Yikes, a lot of might corruption out today. Let's see. So what do I want to do here? Let's go. Let's see. What are the items that are out right now? Looks like we've got the flex capacitor. That's not that completely good right now. So mostly I need red and blue workers right now. So I think this time we're going to go for a move and a play. So I'm going to move over to the move and a play. Well, this plan worked better than I had it in my head. So I think the way we're going to do this is I'm going to move to the... I'm going to move up to the sawmill. Then I'm going to play Mox with a red worker on it. So I'll gain the Guile. And then I can either play a card or Vanquish, which will be Bjorn, with a blue worker. So I get the Guile for that. Then I get another Might for playing Bjorn, which means I can either gain a red worker or solve. I think here I'm going to gain the... I think here I'm going to gain the red worker. And I'm planning on refreshing next turn. Then for the Automa, Cube is moving again. All right, then the blue mech is sweeping, so the Sunstone Meteorite goes away. And then replacing that will be a Morph Stone. Change a worker to purple, it becomes available if you deploy it with a purple. 2 meteorites melded, gain a might per purple worker. Then when you meld it, gain $1 per purple worker, max of $3. All right, then the blue mech is moving 1 to the right. The black mech doesn't have sufficient glory to go for the corruption tokens, so they're just moving 2 to the left. Okay. Then for my turn, I am taking a refresh turn, which will bring everything back over. All right, then for the Automa's turn, Cube is not moving. The blue mech is sweeping this Morph Stone clear. Then replacing that, locate the meteor epicenter needs us to go to space 8. 2 Guile to take an adjacent benefit and a coin. Deploy it with a purple worker, gain the core value of all face-up meteorites. So that's the sweep. Still no sufficient glory to go for the map tokens, which means they're moving 2 to the right. So they're moving over here. Then they don't have the glory to go for corruption tokens, so moving 3 to the left. Okay. And then since I took a refresh action, I get to do all three. Let's go with well, we can do all three in any order that we want. So, let's go with an adjacent face-up card. That would either be Trap the Zombies or a Brainstone. I definitely need blue workers, though, which makes me want to move back to the isolated settlement for that. So yeah, I think we'll start off with a move to the isolated settlement. Then we'll gather a blue worker. And then we're going to play... What are we going to play here? We're going to drive off the Marauders. I will put a red worker on that so I can discard a card to gain 2 might. I will discard Save a Captive from a Dark Ritual to gain 2 more might. So that's giving me 3 more might, which means I definitely want to go corruption hunting soon. All right, then for the Automa, they are not, their cube isn't moving, but the blue mech is taking a map token, since they have the sufficient glory for that. Then the space they're revealing up here, the Observatory, space 14. You can take a map and an item upgrade, but you have to clear 8 corruption first. And speaking of upgrades, I'm just checking what I've got over there. All right, so 8 corruption going up to space 14. All right. There's a 3. Another 3. And a 4. Okay, so that part's handled. Then the Automa doesn't have the sufficient glory to go for the other action, so the black mech is just moving 1 to the left. And yes, as you may have noticed, the Automa does loop back and forth across the board. Okay, so I'm going to go with a move and a play. I'm going to get up to the Crater Rim. And then I'm going to play Mox with a red worker on it to vanquish. I can play a card or vanquish. I've been using this to play a card, but I'm going to use it to vanquish this time. If this vanquish removes the location's final corruption, you may gain the revealed benefit. So I'll start off by spending 4 might to clear this token, then another 2 to clear the other one out. And then since I used my companion to vanquish, I can gain the revealed benefit, which is to upgrade, and I think I will. So I'll upgrade the cranial implant. Whenever I gain an item or a meteorite, I also gain its core value, and at the end of the game, I get 4 coins for that. So I'll tuck that about like so. Okay, and then coming out for the Automa's next turn, cube is moving. The northern mech doesn't have enough to go for the 20 corruption, plus it's not out yet anyway. So then we move that 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. And then the Automa does have a map token. Range for them is also 3, I believe. Let me look. 0 to 3. Yep, okay. So there is a map token right here, which they will go to that. And then this location will reveal the impact zone, space 7. 2 might and or a meteorite meld, but we need 5 corruption there first. All right, there's a 4. And another 4. Gross. Okay, that's it for their turn. Now for my turn. Looks like it's going to be a... Is it going to be a move and gather? What would I even be gathering at this point? I don't need purple workers yet, even though there are a lot of cards out there. So actually, that mech should be there. We've got 2 cards that need purple workers. I think I want to try to get that, locate the meteor epicenter before it gets swept away. That's an adjacent face-up card at the warehouse, which I think... So I can't do... So I have to cover move or play. And I don't think there's much sense for me to play Bjorn while I'm here, unless I need another red worker, and I don't particularly right now. So I think I'm going to do a move and a gather. Question is, do I want to take a chance on that meteorite on that meteor epicenter quest getting swept away? Because I'm on the space it needs right now, and I need 2 guile for it. So I think I'm going to go... I think I can come back. I can come back and grab the purple worker later. So I do want to make sure I get that quest, though. And I really liked the... Oh, the morph stone went away to change a worker to purple. Let's see. Must end. You may travel through occupied locations. Okay, I was making sure of that. So I'm doing a move and a gather. So I'm going to move my mech over to the warehouse, and I'll take the benefit of gaining an adjacent card to gain locate the meteor epicenter. Then replacing that will be cure a whale of parasites, space 12. 2 guile to gain a corruption token. I believe that's out of the bag. It would probably make sense that it is out of the bag. I'm just looking here real quick. Yeah, that's probably out of the bag. And a coin. Blue, pay 1 of each to gain the top corruption at your location if it's a 3 or a 4. Ooh, I might try to grab that too. Let's see. So that was my move and my gather. Okay. The Automa's next turn. Cube is moving again. Now they're on to Glory. If they have 2, the blue mech will gain the map token here. And then they'll flip this location over to find the Ice Cave. Gain a purple worker, a coin, and an upgrade once you clear the corruption, but we need 8 corruption there first. There's a 3 might. A 3 guile. And a 5 might. Gross. Okay. So since that one moved. All right, then the black mech doesn't have enough to get a corruption, so it's moving 2 to the left. All right, for my turn, let's see, that's 2 guile, and we've got that location active now. So I think here I'm going to do a play and a gather. So I'm going to start off by gathering Cure a Whale of Parasites. And then play will be Bjorn with a blue worker. That'll give me a might. And I'll use that to gain a red worker. Then the Automa's next turn. Come on. Here we are. Cube is moving again. The Automa doesn't have sufficient glory to go for the 20 corruption, so they're moving, so the blue mech's moving 2 to the right. Black mech is sweeping all adjacent cards. Actually, I don't mind that. Oh, speaking of cards, I got to replace the Cure a Trapped Whale. So here we will replace Tesla Pistol, gaining a might. Red to vanquish. Whenever you vanquish the final location of corruption from a location, also gain a might and a guile. Then these 3 cards are getting swept by the black mech. Replacing here first, we will find Pillage the Tower at space 13. Deploy a red worker, gain a might and or vanquish. Excuse me. Next up, Allenstone. It's a meteorite. Red to gain a worker. 2 meteorites gain a guile per available worker. And then gain $1 per available worker to a max of 3. And replacing down here, find a former factory engineer, space 1, spend a guile to get a blue worker, deploy it with a blue worker, gain a guile or upgrade. All right, then with 2 glory, they will take the map token here and will reveal this location. So revealing this location is space 11, the mining town. Play a card from your hand, gain its core value, you may place a worker, or take an upgrade. 5 corruption first. And look at that. It's a 5 guile corruption, so that actually worked out. Then my turn is going to be very quick, because I need to do a refresh action to get all my cards and workers back. Okay. And then since the deck is empty for the Automa, these 2 cards technically get thrown to the side. I turn them perpendicular because that's how I'm used to doing it in games like Gaia Project and Age of Innovation. I'm used to having the Automa deck. I'm used to having the bottom 2 cards of the Automa deck turned sideways, which amounts to the same thing in the grand scheme of things. Give this a quick shuffle. And a cut. And 1, 2. And our next card here will be advancing the Automa's cube again. Don't have the glory on the blue mech, so they're moving 1 to the right. And then the central mech does have the glory to go for the map token right here. So I'll move there, get the map token, and then that will flip over to find. Research base, space 13. 2 guile or an item upgrade, but we need 5 corruption there first. We're seeing a lot of items here. That's a 5 guile corruption. That'll work. Okay. Then for my turn, I get to do all 3 once again. I'm going to move to the weird forest. Then I'm going to gather a purple worker. Then I'm going to play... What do we have for face-up meteorites? We've got 2 face-up. I'm going to play Locate the Meteor Epicenter with the purple worker, which will let me gain the core value of all face-up meteorites. I get a guile for playing that. Then I get 1 of each because those are the meteorites I've got that are face-up right now. We're probably going to be doing some corruption hunting pretty soon. I might try to go over to the impact zone and do something there. Actually, I don't even have a meteorite to meld right now, so that would be useless. Then moving back to the Automa's turn. Cube isn't advancing, but they will get a map token and reveal the location here. So here they will find the encampment. Gain a face-up card or boast, but we need 8 corruption there first. That's a 5 guile. A 2 guile. And a 3 guile. Came out like that. Okay. Let's see. Then the black mech is going to move over 1 to the left. Then for my turn, what's the impact zone? Melding. And I do have the corruption to clear that out, which I think I will do that. So I'm going to cover gather. So I'm going to do a move and a play action. So I'm going to move over to the impact zone, and I'm going to play Mox with a red worker, which will let me play a card or vanquish, but I'm going to vanquish. So I'll spend my 4 might to get that token, and then 4 of my guile down to 2 to clear this one out. And then since I used my companion to vanquish, I could take and I just looked at that, that would have been completely useless to do, but oh well. A little late now to worry about that. So that was a derp on my part. Then next up for the Automa, Cube is moving. They're not over to 3 glory yet, but the blue mech is sweeping, clearing this pillage of the tower. And then the card coming out is Dark Prophet Staff. Purple worker to gain a face-up card. Once per turn, if you gain a card to your active row, you may place a worker on it to activate its ability. That's upgraded. Okay. Then they don't have the glory to go for a map token, so this mech is moving 1 to the right. Then the black mech is moving 2 to the left, because they don't have the glory to go for corruption tokens either. Let's see, for my turn, let's listen to the thunderstorm come in, because of course. Let's go for, we can actually boast if we can find a place to boast. We've got a few out, but they're covered by corruption right now. So I think we're going to do a move and a gather. I'll start off by gathering 2 might while I'm here. Then I'm going to move. I'm going to move over here to the research base because that's within my range. And then the Automa. Okay, the blue mech's sweeping the Dark Prophet's staff away and revealing Synergy Halo, an item. Deploy with a blue worker to gain a guile. Whenever you gain at least 2 guile during your turn, also gain a might. All right, then no glory to go for the map token, so moving 2 to the right. Then no glory to go for the corruption, moving 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. Okay, for my turn, let's go with a play and gather. I'll gather 2 might. Then I'll play drive off the Marauders with a red worker on it, discarding Cure a Whale of Parasites to gain 2 might, bringing me up to 4. Then for the Automa, Cube is moving once again. They're still not on 3 glory yet. Sweeping the adjacent cards clear, which right now is the Allen Stone, replacing that with a Meld Stone. Meld another meteorite with a purple worker. Gain a guile per melded meteorite, and then that's gain $1 per melded meteorite. No maximum, surprising there. Don't have the glory for the map token, so 3 to the right. No glory for the corruption, 3 to the left. When it's passing through a mech that's space that's occupied, it skips me before starting to count. 1, 2, 3. About like that. Now coming into my turn, let's see, I have to cover up either play or gather. Actually, I think we're going to cover up gather, so I'm going to move and play. Actually, no, I want to cover up play this turn, so I want to move and gather. I'm going to move over to the fishing village and gain 1 of each. Then for the Automa, you can see turns here are actually pretty quick. The Automa here doesn't have the glory to go for corruption, so the blue mech's moving 2 to the right. Then the black mech's moving 1 to the left. Let's see, what do I want to do here? I think here it's going to be a play and gather. So I'm going to play Save a Captive from a Dark Ritual with a red worker on it. I'll rescue Mox with a red worker to gain a power, a might, and a guile. And then gathering will be another 1 of each. Then for the Automa's turn, Cube is moving. Now the Automa's on 3 glory. They don't have the corruption to go for the 20, so the blue mech's moving 3 to the right. Then this hurts. Then the black mech is sweeping. They've got 3 cards here. 2 meteorites and a pistol that they can sweep clear. We'll replace here first. Here goes out. Another map stone. Gain a map from the general supply with a green worker. 2 melded meteorites to gain a might per map, and then gain $1 per map to a max of 3. Next up, going up here. Talk with the Protectors of the Cave on space 17. 3 guile to gain a face-up quest card and a guile. With a yellow worker, gain a might per available worker. Then coming down here, identify members of a lost expedition on space 19. 3 guile to play a card with a worker and a coin. place a yellow worker to gain a guile, or pay $2 or pay 2 guile to gain $2. That was the bottom one sweeping. Now there are no map tokens in range for the black mech to get, so it's moving 1 to the left. Let's see, then for me, I'm going to do a move and a play. Question is, what do I want to do here? I don't think I have the guile to clear all of this out. 3, 2, 5, no. Because I'd be trying to get me to a... that'd be trying to get me to a boast action, which I can't do right now. Actually, this one would too if I play here. Which I do have something I can boast about here, actually. So I'm going to play Mox with a red worker to vanquish. I'll spend my 5 might to clear this token out. And then since I used my companion to vanquish, I can immediately gain the recovered benefit, which in this case is going to be a boast. So in this case, I will boast that I've got 7 workers under my control. Then a move is going to be up to the encampment. Right. Then for the Automa, Cube is moving for them. They don't have the glory to go for the 20 corruption, so moving 2 spaces to the right. And then the central mech is sweeping again. So sweeping all of this clear. Which I actually don't mind that, because it's letting me see a lot more cards. It's letting me see a lot of cards. Going up here first, we will find... Search the mining town for fuel and survivors. Space 11, 2 guile to play a card with a worker. Green worker, pay a guile to gain a worker. Then coming down here... Recover a stolen map, space 14. 3 might to gain a map and a... What's the word I want? Coin. Then green worker to gain a guile per adjacent revealed location, or gain a map from the general supply. And replacing out here last. Aether Converter, item. Purple worker to meld. Once per turn, if you meld a card, either gain its core value or activate its ability. Okay. And then there are no maps in range, so this one's moving 3 to the left. Let's see, then for my turn, I'm at space 16. I do need to save a captive from a dark ritual, but I don't have the... Actually, I should have another guile from Mox. I never took that. I think here we're going to do a play and a gather. So I'll play Bjorn with a blue worker to gain another red worker, which will also give me 2 might because I've got a glory. I get 1 for the core value and then another 1 because of Bjorn. Then gather. When I gather, I can trash a map to active as a corruption as not covering a benefit, which here it's boast. Question is, do I have anything else to boast about? And that's both of them. So I don't have anything to boast about, but let's see. When I gain a... No baseball tonight, Jester. During replays, I try to have my Wednesday videos as something not baseball related, just to give me a break from the grind of the baseball season. That'll be true in future replays as well. Let's see, I'm just deciding what card I really want here. I'm hoping I can get one of the items, because I can also get the core value, which Actually, both of those would give me a guile, which would both be very helpful. Question is, which one do I think is more helpful? Actually, if I do this right, I can set myself up to be able to clear that location out and be able to boast on my next turn, well, 2 turns from now. So I'm going to grab the Synergy Halo, and then since I've got the Cranial Implant upgraded, since I gain an item, I also gain its core value, so that brings me up to 9 Guile. Then replacing that, which is replacing up here, will be the Amulet of Bravado. It's an item. Deploy it with the Yellow Worker to gain a Might. Whenever I have 10 Might, I can decrease my power to 3 to gain $3. Then coming out for the Automa, Cube is moving again. They're a little over halfway to the end of the game. They don't have the glory, though, to go for the corruption, so the northern mech is moving 2 spaces to the right, and it is looping off the map. So skipping me, 1, 2. Then there's no map tokens in range for the central mech, which is the one down here, so it's moving 1, 2. Then I'm taking a refresh turn so I can get everything back. Easy does it. Okay. Then for the Automa's next turn, Cube is moving for them. Then they've got tokens in range for glory, so they're going to be so they're moving over here, grabbing one of these. Oop, come on. Stay there. There we go. Then for the other mech, they've got a corruption right on top of them, actually. So they're grabbing that one. And then since I took a refresh, I get to do all 3. So I'm going to start off by playing Mox with the red worker on him. So I got to see what the sequencing is here. You thought I didn't like this game very much the first time I played it. You might be thinking of Scythe that I've never been a big fan of. This game I actually like a lot because it's got more of a puzzly feel to it, and the most player interaction you get is, oh no, they're standing in my way. Scythe isn't a game I've never been a big fan of, though. And I'm trying to check timing here. Play it to my active row. In any order, I may gain the card's core value and place a worker to activate its ability. Okay, so I can choose the order. So I'm deploying Mox I'm playing Mox to gain the Guile and a Might because I've got 2 glory, what's the word I want right now? I've got 2 glory. I've got 1 glory marker, actually. I'm about to have 2, though. I am deploying a red worker on it as well to vanquish. I'm going to clear myself completely out of Guile to clear all 3 of these tokens out. Just so you can see, 3, a 2, and a 5 adds up to all 10 of my Guile. So I'm cleared out there. Then, since I'm right there, and I use my companion to vanquish, I get to immediately use the uncovered benefit, which I'm going to boast that, hey, look at that, I've got 7 corruption tokens. Then I can take a gather action. Unfortunately, I can't boast about anything else right now, but I can get another card, which is going to be... Actually, I might be able to boast again. So I might actually be able to boast again. Let's see, have at least cards in my control. Doesn't count solved, melded, or upgraded cards. Okay, so I actually will be able to boast again this round. But I will gain... I'll gain the Aether Converter, which will give me a Guile back. And then I get to boast again that I've got 8 cards under my control. So now we're near the end of the game here. Okay. And then I do need to replace a card here, so replacing that will be Communicate with the Beast. Space 14, 3 Guile to meld. With the yellow worker, pay a Guile to meld. Then for the Automa, cube moves again. They're headed toward 4 glory. The blue mech has got enough glory to go for a map token, so they're going up here. I'll put that on their space. And then the tile we reveal here is the Ancient Temple. Space 15, 2 coins and a meld, but we need 8 corruption there first. This is a 3. That's a 3 that's a 3 might. I tend to use power and might interchangeably. They're essentially the same thing. And a 5 guile, so that's enough corruption there. And then they've got 3 glory to go for another corruption token, so the Automa will take that one. And that's their entire turn. As for my turn, let's see, I don't have the guile. Well, let me think what I want to do here. Well, I do have actually, I might have the guile to solve a quest. I think I do, actually. Yeah, I do. So I'm actually going to do a move and a play. I'm going to move down to the fishing village. Then I'm going to play Bjorn, my character. Since I've got 3 glory, I get the entire core value. So that's 2 might and a guile. And I will deploy that with I'll play him with a blue worker to solve a quest. I'm going to solve Cure a Whale of Parasites, which will let me spend 2 guile down to 0, and then gain a corruption. Presumably, I'll grab a random one out of the bag. Which there's my random corruption coming out of the bag. And a coin, which mostly matters for endgame scoring. So that gets tucked under the quest space. So now I've got 1 solved. Then for the Automa's next turn, cube is moving again. So now the Automa's at 4 glory. They trigger at 8 because they've got 2 mechs. They've got enough glory to go for a corruption token on the northern space, or on the northern line, which they will grab there. And then the black mech is moving 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. Then for me, I am going to do a what? We don't have any face-up meteorites, so playing Locate at the Meteor Epicenter is less than pointless. Let's go with a... Let's go with a move and a gather. So where do I want to move to? Actually, what do I want to gather right now? I think I want to gather Guile right now. So I'm going to move to the research base, and I'm going to gather 2 Guile there. Then as the Automa's deck is empty, once again, I'm going to shuffle, we'll reshuffle that. Give this a cut. All right, and then the next Automa's turn. I turned the bottom 2 cards perpendicular as usual. Cube is moving for them. Still not at 5 glory, so the Automa is moving 2 to the right. Blue mech's moving 2 to the right, 1, 2. Then the black mech is moving 2 to the left, skipping me 1, 2. And that's it for their turn. Let's see. Here we're going to do a... Here I'm going to do a play and a gather. I'm going to gather 2 Guile. Then, what am I going to play? I'm going to play Save a Captive from a Dark Ritual with a red worker, and I'm going to rescue... I'm going to rescue somebody that's got one of my cards that's got a worker on it. Let's see. That is an item upgrade. I'm going to rescue Mox. Since Mox has got a worker, I also gain a might and a guile. Then for the Automa's next turn, they are moving the cube. They don't have anything available to go for the 20 corruption, so the blue mech is moving 2 to the right. Black mech is sweeping, which is only talk with the protectors of the cave. Next card that's coming out there, once it decides to come out for me. Rift Mask, it's an item, gaining a might. Deploy a green worker with it to solve. Once per turn, if you solve, either gain its core value or activate its ability. All right. And then there's no map tokens in range, so the black mech is moving 3 spaces to the left. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. For my turn, where do I want to move here? Or do I want to? Well, I'm going to have to move because I've got to cover up either play or gather. No, there's no meteorites face up right now, so that's pretty much pointless. Let's see here. We still have the 20 corruptions token also that needs to go out somewhere. The question is, where do I want to put it out? Can I go solve any of my quests right now? I can't because the space I need for that one is blocked off. I could move back to the encampment to grab a quest, which might not be a terrible idea, because I do have the guile right now if I want to go communicate with the beasts, but what I don't have is a meteorite to meld right now. So, yeah, I think we're going to do move and gather. I'm going to move up to space 16, and then I'm going to recover a stolen map with the plan of being able to complete that almost immediately. Actually, let me make sure that I can complete quests while they're on the discarded side. I'm pretty sure I can, though. Solve. Whether or not it's location, yada, yada, yada. If you gain a corruption, gain it from the bag. I wasn't sure about that earlier. Okay, so must be in the location. Where did I get those sleeves for the game? They're just standard Ultra Pro sleeves like I would get I'd order from Amazon. They're also the same sleeves I use on, basically whenever I need clear, it's usually these sleeves I go to. In fact, let me see. I do have a pack open. So it's actually just the standard Ultra Pro Deck Protector sleeves. There is actually, I've got a card here. There is a little bit of a watermark on here, but it's not terrible. And I was trying to check on the solve a quest. Must be on a location. Return it to your mech, yada, yada, yada. Looks like you can solve from either side. Okay. So the card replacing that is going to be an Aether Mirror. Deploy with a yellow worker to refresh. When you refresh, gain 1 of each per refreshed worker. Okay, and then I could boast about something, but I don't have anything to boast about right now, and I can't repeat categories right now. I can't repeat categories. So, for the Automa, their next turn, Cube is moving again. Then the Northern Mech is sweeping. It's sweeping these 2 cards clear. Then replacing here is Raise a Corrupted Building on space 9. 2 might to gain a corruption. Yellow worker to vanquish. After each corruption you gain, also gain 1 of each. Then replacing here, Exosuit, it's an item. Red worker to rescue, and when it's upgraded, once per turn if you rescue another card, either gain its core value or activate its ability. That's moderately interesting. So that was a sweep. They've got enough glory to go for a map token, so they will take that one. And then coming out will be Tarkovsky's Lair. So here's where the 20 corruption goes. And you can gain 1 of any adjacent benefit. So this is where the 20 corruption marker goes. Then for the black mech, it's got enough glory to go for 3 corruption. So it just finds the 1 in range, takes that one, and that's its turn. Let's see. Back over to my turn then. What's the benefit here? That's an upgrade. Okay, so it would be a... Let's see. That would be a move and play. The question is, do I want to save for the 20 corruption? I would need Guile for that. I think the answer... That's an upgrade here. That would be an upgrade there. I would need to get back to space 8. Unfortunately, I can't get back there. I gotta see how move works. I know I can move through, but the problem is if I move 3 spaces here, 3 spaces from here is going to get me to the mining town. I would need to get to Crater Rim to be able to solve one of my quests. So I think move, let's see, play, gather, move is probably the first action. Yep. Actually, hold on. Where is move? Here's move. May travel through. Okay. Let's see. So I still have to decide what I want to do here. I've got play covered up. I do need to upgrade more items. So I think I'm going to do a move and a play. So I'm going to move up to the observatory. Then I'm going to play Mox with a red worker to vanquish. I'll spend 4 Guile down to 1 to get this token. Then 3 Might to get this one. And another 3 Might down to 2 to get this one. And then since I used my companion to vanquish, I can upgrade an item, which I'm going to upgrade my Synergy Halo. So now whenever I gain at least 2 Guile during a turn, I also gain a Might. Which I will do it like that. Okay, then next for the Automa turn, there is 1 in range for the blue mech, so they're moving up here, getting this map. And then they'll flip over the tile. Here we will find Stormy Sea. Space 19, sweep, adjacent benefit, and a boast, but we need 8 corruption there first. Bag went back here. There's a 3, that's a 3 guile. A 4 guile. And a 5, and a 5 might. That's great. That is a total of 12 corruption, but it was an 8 plus. So they came out in that order. Let's see, that's in the, this one's in the discard pile. Then they don't have the glory to go for corruption tokens on the central mech, so moving 1 to the left. Okay. Now, once again, no meteorites up. And I don't have the guile now to solve that quest. So I think here it's going to be a move and a gather. So I'm going to move down 1, 2, 3 to the crater rim. Then a gather, I can either sweep and refresh. Let's refresh all of my cards and workers. Yep. I'm going to leave the display as is, but I'm going to refresh everything. And that would be or an item upgrade, but I didn't take the item upgrade, so I don't get that benefit. Then for the Automa, cube is moving. They're now on 5 glory. The Automa's got, the Northern mech's got plenty, and they've got 3 corruption up there as well. So they'll grab all of those. And then the central mech is moving 1, 2 to the left. Okay, so I could do a move and a play, which I think I will do just that. I'll start off with a play, though. I'm going to play Bjorn to give me 2 might and a guile, and then I'll deploy a blue worker on him so I can either gain a red worker or solve. I'm going to solve locating the meteor's epicenter, spending 2 guile, so I get a coin, and I can take an adjacent benefit, which the adjacent benefit I'm going to take is going to be... my adjacent benefits here are actually pretty crap, to be perfectly honest with you. But it's going to be 2 might. And then I also gain a guile for solving using my character, which gives me the core value of all of my solved quests. Actually, I think that's going to be 2 guile, which I never gained the 1 from earlier in the game, so I should have so I'll give myself an extra guile now. Then I have to move, which is going to be... that's going to be down to space 4. I've got something of a plan here, I think. Is it going to be space 4? Because I could actually, well, I was going to say, could I set myself to end the game here? But the answer to that is no, I can't yet. No, I'm going to need 1 more quest before I can do that. So I think I will move down, though, to space 4. Then that's, yeah, actually I think this will work out. Then for the Automa's next turn, cube is moving for them. Northern mech does have a map token they can go to, so they'll go over here. Then revealing that is actually our last tile of the game. So here we find Mountain Pass. Take an adjacent face-up card or meld, but it needs 8 corruption first. A 3 Guile. And a 5 Might. All right, so that's all done. And then 3 Glory to take a corruption token, so they're all set there. Okay, then for me, I'm going to take a play and a gather. So I'm going to start off by gathering a green worker. Then I'm going to play Save a Captive from a Dark Ritual, gaining a Might, and I'll play a red worker on it, which will let me rescue Bjorn. Since he had a worker, I gain a Might and a Guile. Then for the Automa, cube is moving. They don't have the glory, which is fortunate for us, but they will be landing on the 20 corruption token. 1, 2, 3. Then the black mech is then the central mech's sweeping. It's getting rid of the Rift Mask. And then replacing that with an Awakened Shard, gaining a Guile as a core value. Yellow worker to play a card. And when you play a meteorite, you may activate its ability without placing a worker. And then it's moving 1 to the left. Then for my turn, I'm going to do a move and a play. So I'm going to start off by playing Bjorn, which will give me 2 Might and a Guile. Then I'm going to deploy a red worker on him to solve, and I'm going to drive off the Marauders, which will cost me a Might to give me a face-up item card, which will be the Aether Mirror, the Exosuit, or the Awakened Shard. And I want the let's see. I think I want the I could really use the Guile here. Because I'm probably going to go spend a little bit of time around the research base so I can gather up the Guile to hopefully go up to Tarkovsky's lair, vanquish the 20 corruption there, and trigger the end of the game. But I think I will take. I don't have a yellow worker for the Awakened Shard. Let's go. Let's go for the Aether Mirror. I'll plan on getting that upgraded as fast as I can. Then because of an earlier upgrade, I also gain the core value when I upgrade it. So that'll get tucked. And this will help out immensely because I'll gain 2 Guile from solving my quests, but the Might goes to waste because I'm already at 10. Then I'm going to move up to the research base. That's a range of 3. Then for the Automa, hopefully they're not going to snatch that 20 corruption away from me, but while I'm setting up to go get it. Moving 3. Does that include the 20 corruption? Because they call out the 20 corruption specially. Okay, so that does ignore the 20 corruption. So the blue mech will move over here, grab both of these 2. Then the black mech is moving 1 to the left. Then for me, I'm going to do a move and a gather. So I'm going to gather 2 Guile, and then I'm going to move up to Tarkovsky's lair. Then for the Automa, their cube is moving. They're on 6 glory now. Then they can take a corruption within range. They've got plenty of glory for that. They'll move over to the Ancient Temple and grab this corruption. Then the central mech could get a map token, but they don't have any in range. So the black mech is moving 1, 2, 3 over to the left. Then for my turn is going to be... my turn is going to be play and gather. So I'll start off by playing Mox for the core value, which is a Guile, and the Might's going to go to waste. Then I'll deploy a red worker on him to vanquish. I'll spend 10 and 10 to gain the 20 corruption. And then since I used my companion to vanquish, I can immediately boast about something. And hey, look at that. I'm going to boast that I just got this handy-dandy little 20 corruption token. So now that I've boasted about that, I also gather, which is an adjacent locations benefit, which will be the observatory for a map token, and I'll take an upgrade, which will be the Aether Mirror, which will give me access to the ability of whenever I refresh, I gain a Might or a Guile per refreshed worker. And now that I've triggered the end of the game, we both get one more turn, and then endgame scoring. So the last turn for the Automa, they're sweeping. And I don't think what it's replacing it with really matters, but we'll do this by the book anyway. Brave the Eerie Tunnel for a Might, 6. Spend a Might to take an adjacent benefit. Sort your green worker to sort your location's corruption in any order you may vanquish. And then it's moving 2 to the right, so 1, 2. Then the black mech's looking for a corruption in range. It's got one right here. Then for my last turn, there's really not much for me to do right now. I think here, actually, no, there is something I can do that might help. I'm going to move and gather. So I'm going to move over to the observatory, then gather a map token and another item upgrade, for upgrading the Aether Converter, mostly for endgame scoring, because why not? All right, and that's it. That's the end of the game. So now we do endgame scoring. I'll do the Automa's endgame scoring first. Scores for each glory token on base camp, which will be 6. So that'll be 24 coins for the Automa. 20. I thought it had singles, but it does not. It does now. So 24 coins there, plus 1 per map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 10, 11, 12. I'll actually trade 5 of these singles in, get a 5 back, just to make my math easy. And then 1 per corruption. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 10, 11, 12, 13. I'll trade these 2 10s in once I can get my nails under them and get a 20 back. So the Automa scored 49 coins. Now I get to score my stuff. So first up, for endgame scoring, total value of all coins I have is 2, so lottie frickin' die, no. Each glory token scores based on the number of quests I've solved. I've solved 3, so 8. So each of my placed glory tokens are worth $8. So I get 32 out of that because I completed 3 quests. 20, 30, 1, 2. Then upgraded items scores coins. So 4, 8, 12, 15. 10, 15. I'll trade the 2 10s in and get a 20 back. And right now I'm tied, but here's where I'm about to blow the automa out of the water. Corruption tokens. Each corruption scores $2. This includes the 20 value. This includes the 20. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6. So I get another $26 out of that. Trade in the 2 5s for a 10. Trade in the 5 singles for a 5. Mostly to make my math easy. Actually, nope, I was going to say the 2 10s for a 20, but never mind. 20, 40, 60, 75 for me to 25 or 20, 40, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for the automa. So I won this one 75 to 49 coins. And that will do it for this playthrough of Expeditions. As I mentioned, I really like this game a lot. Yes, it's set in the same world as Scythe, and I'm not a big fan of Scythe. I will freely admit to that. But I do really enjoy this game. It's got more of a puzzly feel to it. And to me, it's a lot easier of a solo play than regular Scythe is. I've been repeating this, but I'm not a big fan of Scythe. This, to me, feels a lot more approachable in this world. And thanks for the kind words on that. That was a pretty good win. So, yeah, like I said, I really like the approach here on this one. I wouldn't say I destroyed them, but maybe a harder difficulty as I get more comfortable with this game. But now that we've got a little bit of pleasure over, now we need to get back to business, namely the business of the 1985 season replay, as tomorrow night we will be back at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, for Game 4 of the National League Championship Series in 1985. The Montreal Expos will be hosting the Houston Astros in Game 4 of that series. Montreal leads 2-1. Nolan Ryan and his bruised ribs are going for the Astros tomorrow night, and Bryn Smith will be up for the Expos. Saturday Mystical Munchies will continue out of the Dungeons and Dragons Flavors of the Multiverse cookbook as we make the dessert, fig cakes. Sunday, we're playing game number 5 off of my War Room list as we play Undaunted 2200 Callisto. And next week, Wednesday, we're stepping back into a space RPG as we play Star Wars Force and Destiny. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then,